Smita.
Hi, Kiwa. Good morning.
Morning. So, for everyone here, we are here for the 13th episode of Coaching Gupshup with Smita and Kiwa. And we've been thinking that it's been really interesting hearing from some of you about the gupshup that we've been having, your thoughts about some of the topics that we've brought. And for people who are joining us for the first time, maybe, we wanted to just share that this is a space where Smita and I, who are extremely passionate about the coaching space, speak about topics that have had an impact on the way we coach and the way we operate in our personal lives or at work. And so this is a space for us to bring out stories from the coaching world while we explore these topics and these themes and a lot of the skills that play out in the coaching space and its impact in the way we operate outside of the space as well. So even if you aren't familiar with this space and or are new to it, this is something that could help you to get started with what really the space is all about. So we welcome you to this space, and today we're going to be speaking about a topic that is extremely powerful according to both of us, and in many ways has influenced our coaching practice and also the way in which we operate. So the topic is reframing. So Smita, for somebody who's heard this word for the first time, what would you say? Like, what is reframing and where's this coming from?
Yeah, great. Thank you all for joining in, and a warm welcome to our, Gupshup. Kiva and I were just discussing, and I was just telling Kiva that that is something she uses, like every now and then, like every time I'm having a conversation with her, and we are in some kind of a crisis, or something that we have not been able to achieve, or something like that. So I always see Kiva, coming with that reframing mindset. I think that's really your strength, Kiva. I really like the way that you think, and it's not just about in your thoughts. I also see that you with that thought in mind, you are always able to act according to whatever you, maybe you've seen it or you visualize, or I don't know what you do, but it's always that we really change the tone of the conversation, even in the moments of crisis. That's been my observation every time I have a conversation with you, and especially in those times when it's a challenging situation at hand, it's a crisis situation at hand. So with that, I would want all of you to maybe to reflect post this session, to say that how do you use this tool. I'm sure maybe you don't know that it's called reframing, but I'm sure you would have heard of many other phrases for reframing, and you would be using it and practicing it in your life. So it's a powerful technique. We as coaches, we do use it, which helps the clients to change their perspective, and for a problem at hand or a situation at hand, and look at things with a new and a different perspective, right? Which is more productive, which helps in maybe touching upon your own limiting beliefs, or your own values, and it helps to realign for the purpose. So, and then of course there are a couple of ways which we can do, but Kiva, just pausing here to see that what are your thoughts on reframing.
I think when we spoke about this topic, my first question to you was, what is reframing, Smita? Even though I think in the coaching space, you use it, but I think I didn't connect it directly to the exact techniques at that point. And I think I really liked how you helped me to understand basically how one views a situation, an experience, maybe certain emotions or ideas that are playing out in somebody's mind. And I think that's when it struck, right? Like during coaching conversations, that's exactly what we do, like help a person to become aware of first what is playing out. And then from there, they begin, as they dig deeper, they begin to understand and become aware of probably a pattern that is playing out. And from there starts the next level of curiosity, which is, oh, is this helping me? Is this taking me towards the place where I want to be? So then I think all the dots started getting connected. But I think reframing definitely is a very, very powerful tool. And it is something that helps a person, I think, to have a more empowering story about themselves, about an experience that they have had, in order to be able to move ahead in a more positive and an empowering way.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. So, move in a more positive way that you said, that exactly what happens. And I'm wondering, maybe we can explore this in our conversation today as to, what are some of the ways that we as coaches can, help someone, and need not really be just as a coaching conversation, right? Like, I really feel that it is such an empowering way to change our own mindset. It can be in any conversation. So what can be some of the ways in which coaches can use this tool? So my first thought comes as coaching is all about asking questions, right? Like asking those powerful questions, as we say. And when it is about open-ended questions, I think it really makes a difference, because it's not leading in any way, and it gives the client the autonomy to think that, what can be some of the ways. Yeah. And maybe connecting those open questions with, say, for example, their energy levels. Again, just to give an example, say the client is constantly saying, my goal is, I need to move from point A to point B, and all the client is sharing with us at that moment is that, that's my point, that's my goal, but I don't have this, I don't have that, I don't have this. So it's like, they are quite aware about what they don't have in order to reach to point B, and how through open questions can we help them to reframe that mindset, to say that, looks like you are quite aware about what you don't have. How about what is it that you have? Like, do you want to bring your focus to think about what is it that you have in order to, reach to that goal? So maybe some answers might come, right? Like, we're not saying that, it's a sure shot question, and we'll get a sure shot answer. But then, helping the client to feel empowered through open-ended questions is what, I feel can be a powerful way.
Definitely. And I think I agree with you. I've seen it play out. And a lot of times when the client is just exploring the answers to this open-ended question, they have this aha moment suddenly, which is that, because until then it looked like there's a problem, and I don't know how to solve it. I don't know what to do next. I don't know. So suddenly saying that, okay, I don't know, but then, so what is it that I know? And there's always another side to the coin, and it's about giving that space to someone to actually like flip that coin and see it, and then
Yeah.
So yes, I completely agree that it is something that allows a person to go beyond where they are right now, or to go in a different direction, to find an alternative which will get them moving to the next step.
Yeah. Beautiful. That allows, right? Like that word when you said, I was just thinking that this tool can really allow one to, external will not change, but it'll really allow one to look things differently, and feel differently, and that will have an impact in the way that we will act. Yeah.
Like
So
they say, right?
yeah.
Sorry, like they say that when something shifts inside you is when things begin to shift around you. It's not like something from the outside is going to come and you get very lucky suddenly. It's
Yeah.
about what you've shifted within, and then how that translates into actions, like you said, in a different direction,
Absolutely.
giving it the energy that it needs, I think is what makes that move.
Absolutely. So the language is important, right? Like, it's like when we say I'm sad, and it's all about the negative thing. How a positive reframing can really help one to, uh, maybe we will not reach point B, right? Like, just by having that positive framework, we don't reach. But it's like with the constant, giving energy to that, and maybe for coaches to check with the client when they are talking about the negative framing, the negative language, just to ask as to how are they feeling in their energy when they're sharing that. Yeah. And over a period of, if it's a ongoing client, maybe as a practice they would walk away with certain tools, and then to check that when they reframed their own language, how was the energy level then. Yeah. So I think it's really connected. Maybe somebody will not understand very cognitively, but it's like when you take it to their energy level. Kiva, I think you and I, we always speak this, right? Like when we are seeing crisis and we're talking about negative, and suddenly we say that, Kiva, this is not right. Like I really feel, I don't feel good when we are thinking like this, or we are talking about like this. But when through our conversation we try and flip it in the way, which shows some light that it is still possible, let's attempt. And then something like in us really changes us in the way we are conversing, and the energy levels really show in a different way. Did you feel that?
Yes, yes. I was trying to think about certain experiences as well, and that got me thinking that many a times it's not about somebody telling you that think positively, because a lot of times people say that, right? Like when you're going through a bad phase, everything will be okay, think positively, but it doesn't happen. And that's where one gets stuck, right? That even if I want to think positive, I don't know how to actually go in that direction, because the reality is showing me something completely different. And I think the first step to reframing also is to first accept that the situation, yes, is challenging right now. You don't have to just say, no, I look at it in a positive way when I'm not being able to. This is the truth. This is challenging. Maybe it's a goal that you wanted to achieve, and now it looks like while you're on the path that it seems like really far away and not achievable. That is a reality. You cannot escape and start telling yourself, no, it's achievable tomorrow. It's not achievable. Maybe you thought it'll take you 1 year, but now you've realized it's going to take you 6 months more. And you practically don't have the bandwidth for that right now.
Absolutely.
But when you pause and you accept, and then you begin to, once the acceptance has happened, like you said, that's when the energy starts shifting, because then you stop fighting. You stop fighting and you stop, in a way, either blaming yourself for the decision you took or blaming the situation. You just pause in that moment. And I think from there starts the exploration. And the exploration, I think, happens at multiple levels. One is the stories that you tell yourself about the world. Like, for example, if I always say, oh, the world is unfair. Or if I always say, I knew this was not going to happen. Somewhere deep within, I knew it's going to be like, where's this coming from? Right? Maybe a past experience, maybe something from our surrounding that got us to build that kind of a narrative for ourselves. So it becomes the new reality. But I think that's where reframing comes in, which is where you say, okay, I accept that this is how I think because my experiences have taught me this. Is there anything else? Maybe I can change the narrative to saying, I'm learning that my goal setting isn't the best, and I need to make more realistic goals. And then, like you said, then the energy shifts, and then you make a realistic goal and you say, instead of 1 year, it'll take me 1.5 years. Fine, let's accept it. And now let's put my energy and then let's get to the 1.5, achieving it in 1.5 years. So I think a lot of the narrative acceptance is extremely important in order to then make that move.
I love this example, right? Like, so it's like there will be a goal and there will be sub goals, right? Like, and we always want to look at it at a bigger picture kind of a thing. But even an inch movement is an inch movement towards the goal. And rather than seeing or saying that I have not, achieved that bigger goal, an inch, movement can be seen as an accomplished, that we've accomplished something. So I think that really makes me to shift from the feeling of lack to the feeling of abundance. Yeah. Great. And one other, tool that Kiva I have been using, which is about visualization, in the recent anthology book that Kocharya published, the 10th anniversary, my contribution was on this topic, which I very, very strongly, over the period of time and with practice, I have, I've started believing so much. So I use this for every small little thing that I would want in a way that I want. And I really feel that it's not about the end result. I think the journey itself is, bit by bit, it changes and it gets reframed, and it has a ripple effect, right? I'm visualizing for a particular thing, but it has a ripple effect for other areas as well.
Right. Right.
I think for the audience who's listening to us, we touched upon some of the tools that we use, like open questions, positive reframing of our, the statements that we use. How Kiva mentioned about the self-talk that we do, right? The stories that we tell to ourselves, and visualization. Let us know of what you think and what you are using in order to reframe, and what has been your experience as a coach, or in general, right? If you have any experiences, please do share with us, and we would love to hear from you and engage in any conversation.
Great. Thank you so much, Smita, for again another wonderful conversation.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Kiva. It was wonderful to start the day, talking to you with this on this topic. Okay, bye everyone. See you.
See you.